This program is made possible by generous support from China City, with locations in Oak Harbor, Freeland, and Mill Creek, Washington, as well as these local businesses.
Lots of light. So, space, the final frontier. Do you remember the voyages of the original Starship Enterprise? Some of you may. I do. And when I was a kid, I always loved to see the Starship, the Enterprise, just moving so gracefully through that wide expanse of the unknown universe. But now as an adult, that feeling, that memory has become a metaphor for me in my understanding of the importance it is for us to create space in our lives every day. And we need to do this so that we can rest our minds and our bodies and our spirits. And so we can rejuvenate from daily stresses. And it's the way we heal. So I believe that creating space, especially for stress reduction activities on a regular basis, is probably one of the most important activities that we can do for our health and to increase our longevity. So one of the reasons that I started my practice, Women to Wellness, about 4 years ago was, well, outside the fact that it was an absolute menopausal need, was the desire to do my best work. And I'd been seeing patient after patient in a busy clinic for about a decade. And I was tired of feeling like I was melting on a daily basis. And I knew I needed more time to listen to my patients. I really wanted to hear their stories, and I wanted them to hear their stories. For what I've learned over the years as a nurse and a nurse practitioner is that when a woman has the time to share and tell her story, she inevitably is going to identify what she most needs to do and to let go of to heal. And this is the most empowering place to be if you're looking at and attempting to make lifestyle changes. And what we know now through epigenetics is that our lifestyle habits are what really rock our health. It's not our genetics, it's not our gene structure. That actually is responsible for about 5% of our health. It's what we do on a daily basis that changes the expression of our genes. And so it's those things that we do on a daily basis, it's those choices that we make that define how we live our lives. Those are the keys, the ultimate keys to our wellness. And so those are going to be things like, the food that we eat, how well we sleep, how much we play, if we smoke or if we drink. And unfortunately, these days, we also have to be aware of our ability to decrease exposure to toxins that are in our personal care products, our food, our air, and our water, along with being able to decrease stress. And too much stress is creepy. Yeah, it's kind of like doing a wow talk. But what we know is that stress is insidious and it just takes over. And it's been estimated that 85% of visits to healthcare providers is related to stress. I really think that it's more than that. And in our culture, it's like we are so wound tight. It's like we have so much stimulation coming at us every day. It's like global information, it's emotional, it's social, it's economic, it's chemical. It has been suggested that in one day, we experience more stress and more stimulation in our lives than our cave-dwelling ancestors did in their lifetimes. Interesting, huh? I think that it's true, too. And the concern with that is that our nervous systems have not changed that much. So every day, we're having multiple triggers to our ancestral fight and flight responses that are causing this increased chronic level of stress. And it's that stress combined with the hundreds of endocrine-disrupting chemicals that we all carry in our body these days, including newborn babies, that initiates the smoldering inflammation that we now know is the root cause of chronic disease. And so that's why creating space in my work has become a priority, because I feel like that's the best place to do my best work. And especially in my detox and discovery classes that I teach, but also in the clinic setting. But I had to learn it myself before I could teach classes. And so I've had some great instruction over the years, but more recently I had some instruction in the form of a dream. And in the dream, it was the proverbial early full moon morning, and this owl came flying to my bedroom window, and it perched itself outside. And he was staring at me intensely. I mean, so intensely, it just sat me up in bed. And the look from his eyes was captivating. It's like I knew he was trying to tell me something, but I wasn't getting it. It was like he was trying to do like a Vulcan mind meld, but I just wasn't getting it. And so he looked increasingly perturbed, picked up his leg, pushed this huge flower pot out of the way, and literally created space. And I sat there. I get it. Create space. And so early in the next morning, I'm thinking about this dream and what it meant for me. And I mean, it was clear that I was fairly consumed with my work. I was about 3 years into my business, and I wasn't melting on a daily basis, and I loved what I was doing, but I was definitely traveling at warp speed, and it was not going to be sustainable. Not long after that, I attended an online mindfulness meditation class. And about an hour into doing this very simple breathing exercises, I connected with this sense of calm and relaxation. It was like down to my bones sense of calm and relaxation. It was much more than a feeling, though. It was a resonance. And it was like every cell in my being was vibrating in perfect harmony. And it was subtle. And it was powerful, and it was spacious. And it was me, and I hadn't been there or hadn't been here for a long time. And it was like I had this direct connection to this inner part of me that actually felt kind of wise and resilient. And it reminded me of the words of the mythologist Joseph Campbell, who talked about our sacred space. And the importance of our sacred space is that we can return there again and again. That was a tipping point experience for me. And since that time, I have tried to maintain more consistently my connection with my sacred space, or the sense of resonance. For what I found is that I can actually use it kind of like a homing device, where it helps me identify what's sustainable for me or what's not. And it has helped me recalibrate my life and my work. But we all know that life and work is not neat, tidy, or predictable. And some days, some weeks are certainly a lot more challenging than others. And so during the day, especially at work, one of the tools that I use just to kind of help maintain my calm and my resilience is breathing exercises. And especially because I spend so much time in front of the computer. I had no idea that nursing would end up like 8 to 10 hours sometimes in front of the computer during the day. And what I've found is that I have what is called email apnea or screen apnea, and probably the majority of you have that too. And it is when you are in front of your computer working along, it's like you will find yourself where you're holding your breath, or you're not breathing, or you're breathing very shallowly. And that increases our stress hormones. And so a nice exercise that I do during the day periodically is just to break my vision from the computer, and you can do this together if you'd like. And then you take and just look off into the distance, or I have a lovely window I can look out into the woods. And then take in a nice big deep breath and relax, or exhale, and then close your eyes. And then with another, just listening to the sounds in the space around you. And then taking in a nice deep breath. And with the exhalation, just let yourself settle down a little more fully into your chair, where you're sitting or if you're standing. And then with the next breaths. It's very simple. You're focusing on the feeling of the breath, the sensation of the breath as it's going in and out of your nostrils. It's very simplistic, but if you can just focus there, then it helps to begin to embody you more. And then as you continue to do that breath, then you can follow your breath and the sensation as it moves throughout your body. And you could do that in 3 seconds, maybe not quite that shallow, but or even about a minute. But it is amazing how it can just bring you right back to more of a sense of calm and just being more in your body. And that really is what creating space is all about. It's being more present. And creating space is, in the 21st century, our final frontier. And it's here where we can find the tools and the resilience to really craft our life so that we can live long and healthy lives. And let's go for some outrageous longevity, huh? So let's not leave this territory uncharted. May your force be with you. Thank you.